it wasn't even a possible warning. I wasn't primed. But then, two of them stood up, okay? And they walked over to my left, okay? Now, there were two on my right and two on my left. Now, I knew at that point I would have to pull the gun. I'm going to say this. At that time, I was going to pull the gun, but I wasn't going to kill them. And that's what I wound up trying to do, but I had no intention of killing them at that time.
Well, what was your intention?
Listen. What my intention was at that time was just to follow the situation as closely as I could. And the one on my left, he asked me, and he didn't ask what he according to the papers he asked me. His exact words were, "Give me $5." He said it with a smile, and his eyes were bright. I knew I had to pull the gun, but it was the look, and now you cannot understand this. It was his eyes were shiny. He had a smile on his face. I saw the smile on his face and the shine in his eyes, that he was enjoying this. I knew what they were going to do. You understand? Okay? Do you understand now? Now, at that point, for combat, you have to be cold-blooded, and I was. And it was at that point I decided to kill them after all, murder them all, do anything.
What did you think they were going to do?
How can you ask a question like that? What they were going to have fun with me, miss.
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean?
What is your interpretation of that? I can't get inside your head.
Beat the shit out of you. What they were going to do is enjoy me for a while. They were going to beat the fucking shit out of me, okay?
Did you feel trapped?
Did I feel... What do you think? Oh, no. I felt free. I felt great. You know, I was enjoying Fun City. You know, I was
trying to see what you felt at the time.
I was just whistling Dixie, okay? I was in fear, and that's good, because that helps you think. But when I saw his eyes, up to that point, my state of mind changed, and you go into a different state of mind where reality totally changes. So I had my pattern of fire laid out, and it was obvious. And what you do is you don't think. You don't think. You act. Speed is everything. Speed is everything. You just think of speed and the count. He gave me verification when he said, "Give me $5." I pulled out the piece. I just started firing. Now, it's unimportant to look at what you're firing at. You just target images in your mind. You aim for the center of the mass. You keep moving. All you have to do is be faster than they are. Now, perhaps but you don't know what's happening on your right-hand side, but it doesn't matter. You do what you have to do as quickly as possible. You don't think. You live from the fraction of a moment to the fraction of a moment. You just react. You just react. You forget everything that happened an instant before. You cite. You don't understand. I'm explaining what happened. You cite. Listen. You cite your target. That was number one. I got rid of number one. Got number two. They say I shot him in the back. Doesn't matter. I wasn't even aiming. I wasn't aiming for their backs. You aim for the center. One of the fellows, it looked like he was trying, I don't know if he was facing from the front or from the back or whatever, but it seemed as if he was trying to get through the steel wall of the subway car, but he couldn't. And I let him have it. And I let one of the other guys have it. The guy was pretending he wasn't with them. And I ran up to the first two to check them, who were on the ground, the first two that I had shot, and they were taken care of. It was all very cold-blooded, miss, and this is going to offend everyone. And I went back to the other two to check on them. I wanted to know if I missed, but I went to him a second time, and I looked at him, and he can't verify this because he was probably out of it by then. If I'd shot him or if he wasn't, I don't know. And I said, "You seem to be doing all right. Here's another." People are looking for a hero, or they're looking for a villain, and nothing is the truth. What you have here, what you have here is nothing more. What you have here is nothing more than a vicious rat. That's all it is. It's not Clint Eastwood. It's not taking the law in your own hands. You can label that. It's not being judge, jury, and executioner.
Bernhad,
what this is. Listen, I'm going to tell you what this is, and you won't understand. This is survival instinct. Okay. And you can condemn it all you want. I just don't care anymore.
The people call Andrea Reed, Your Honor. Miss Reed, I know you're nervous. We're all nervous. Just try to relax. Miss Reed, in December of 1984, were you living in the Bronx?
Yes.
Are you a native New Yorker? Were you born in New York?
Yes.
Do you work now?
As a part-time model.
Do you go to school?
Yes.
Now, where do you go to school now?
John Jay College.
And what are you studying at John Jay?
Law, criminal justice.
And do you expect to receive a degree sometime in the near future?
During the summer.
That's a bachelor's degree.
Yes.
And are you married to Garth Reed?
Yes.
A witness who has previously testified in this case.
Yes, I am.
Now, Saturday, December 22nd, 1984, about 2.5 years ago, Saturday before Christmas, do you remember that day?
Yes, I do.
Did there come a time when you took a subway ride?
Yes.
Now, did there come a time when you noticed a group of young people getting on that train?
Yes.
Now, what caused you to take notice of these people?
I don't ride the subway very often and very afraid at all times, and I'm aware of the people around me. And
how many were in this group, as you recall?
About 4.
And how would you describe them?
Black teenagers.
And what exactly were they doing after you saw them on the train?
They were moving about, swinging on the bars, banging on the seats.
Now, did there come a time, Miss Reed, when you saw or heard one or more of those individuals address another passenger?
Yes.
Tell us exactly what happened.
I saw one of the young men that was sitting in the seat. There was a white male sitting over in front of them. He said to the white male, "How you doing?" "No, what's happening, man?" That way of speaking.
You were able to hear that?
Yes.
And how many of those persons addressed that white man?
I saw one.
Did he get up from his seat to address that person?
No.
And what, if anything, did the white man do?
He shook his head and he said, "Fine," and he put his head back down.
What became of that white man?
He got up and he left.
He got off the train?
Yes.
When you noticed that, or heard that individual address the white man, did you say anything to your husband?
I said, "Look at those 4 punks messing with that white man."
And what exactly did you see those persons, those young men, doing to cause you to say that?
I thought there was going to be a little trouble. And I didn't think it was nice for them to approach, well, in a sort of speak, mess with him.
Did you see anyone approach the white man?
No.
Did there come a time, before the train came to Chambers Street, Miss Reed, when something else happened?
I heard a gunshot. I turned my head and I saw a white man standing, and he was continuing shooting. He was shooting. I heard a lot of shots.
Do you know who that white man is now?
Yes.
Who is that?
I guess Bernhad Goetz.
Had you noticed him on the train at any time before you heard that first shot?
No.
Is he the same white man you commented to your husband about when you observed or heard one of the teens addressing a person who was sitting down?
No. I mean, it could have been. I don't think so. I'm not sure. I thought that particular man walked off the train.
How many shots altogether did you hear?
Approximately, probably 5.
Can you try to recreate for the jury the spacing between the shots, like bang, bang, bang?
Bang. Bang, 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 bang.
Miss Reed, before you heard that last shot, did you see those 4 young men approach the defendant?
No.
Before you heard that last shot, Did you hear any of those 4 young men say anything to the defendant?
No.
Before you heard the shot, did you see those 4 young men surrounding the defendant?
No.
That's all, Your Honor.
Now, Mrs. Reed, you're presently going to the John Jay College of Criminal Justice.
Yes.
You hope to become a police officer?
Yes.
You've discussed this with Mr. Waples, haven't you?
Yes.
When was the last time you saw Mr. Waples?
Sunday.
And where was that?
At my home.
Now, as part of your studies, you're about to graduate, aren't you?
Yes.
You've learned that criminal prosecutions are very serious things. Is that right?
Yes.
And whenever you talk about a criminal prosecution, you're only to tell the truth. Is that right?
Yes.
And you're to tell the truth to whatever side comes to you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mrs. Reed, have you told people about this case and purposely lied to them?
No.
In other words, whoever you spoke to about this case, you told the truth.
I at times got confused. I may have gotten confused at times and left out some details or something like that.
Whoever you spoke to about this case, you told the truth. I mean, you know your obligation.
Can we have an answer?
Yes.
Now, isn't it true that some investigators from my office came to see you?
Yes.
They came to your home, is that right?
Yes.
By the way, have we ever met?
No.
I didn't come to your home, did I, the way Mr. Waples did?
No.
Did you ever tell Mr. Waples that you didn't want to come to court?
Yes.
Did you ever tell anybody that Mr. Waples made a deal with you? That if your husband came to testify, you could just rip up your subpoena. You wouldn't have to come to court.
Yes.
That is true, isn't it?
It's not right in that way that you put it. The way that you put it, it...
All right. Listen to the following, if you could. It would be very helpful. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, and please try to answer the question. I have a reason for asking it. The jury's going to decide what's right and what's wrong. Now, listen very carefully to the following question. Did Mr. Waples say to you that if your husband came to court to testify, you could rip up your subpoena and you wouldn't have to come?
Yes.
And he gave you his word to that effect, didn't he?
Yes.
But of course he didn't keep his word, did he?
I chose to come to court because I felt that I should, not because he forced me.
I see. So when my investigator asked you about the fact of you coming to court, and you said you were very angry, you didn't want to come to court, Waples wasn't keeping his word, you lied to him.
I object to that, Your Honor.
Yes or no?
Sustained.
Did you tell my investigators that you didn't want to come to court, Waples was forcing you to come? Now remember, Mrs. Reed, you're under oath.
I don't remember.
By the way, Miss Reed, do you know that when my investigators spoke to you, they wore a tape recorder and taped everything you said?
No.
Now, let me ask you that question again. Did you tell my investigators that you didn't want to come to court, and the only reason you were coming to court was because Mr. Waples was forcing you to come?
Maybe, maybe not. I don't remember saying it like that.
Well, do you think you might have said it?
Yes, because I didn't want to get involved in this whole situation.
And do you think you also might have told my investigators that you may have seen 3 or 4 of these guys surrounding Mr. Goetz before he fired? Do you think you might have said that, too?
I don't remember.
And do you think that you might have told my investigators that when you said to your husband, Garth-Reed, look at those 4 punks over there messing with that white man might have been Bernie Goetz?
I'm not sure.
Did you also tell my investigators that you were sitting on the train and you saw at least 2 of them go over to him? And I ask you one more time, do you know that what you said was being taped?
Objection, Your Honor.
If she knows.
Sustained. I think that's been answered already, Mr. Slotnick.
Mrs. Reed, would you please put this earphone in your ear, if I may? Tell us if you recognize your voice. Do you recognize your voice?
Yes.
Now, does it refresh your recollection that you saw at least 2 of them go over to the white guy? You try and listen to it, please.
All I hear is two of them.
Are those your words? Is that your voice?
Objection, Your Honor.
Well?
Did what you just heard, was that in your voice?
Yes.
All right, now, were you asked these questions, and did you give these answers on Wednesday, May 13th? Question: when you saw the 4 people go over to him, or the 2 people, were they this close to him? Answer: they were right next to him. Question: they were right in his face, he's sitting down? Answer: they were standing right over him. Did you ever give those answers to those questions to my investigators in your apartment last Wednesday night?
No.
Please listen again. Perhaps this will refresh your recollection. No, I'm asking you. Does that refresh your recollection of what you told my investigators?
No, I never said they. I only saw one of those youths ask Bernhad Goetz a question. I never said they.
Is it your testimony, as it stands now, that you never said that you saw 2 or 4 people, 4 of the youths, standing over him?
I never saw anyone stand over him.
Mrs. Reed, on last Wednesday night, did you tell my investigators that when you got home, you told your husband that your immediate reaction was they got what they deserved?
Objection.
Overruled.
I never told the detectives that,
The
no.
investigators?
The investigator, no.
All right. Would you please tell the jury whether you hear your voice on the tape and whether you said they got what they deserved?
Yes.
I have no further questions. Thank you very much.
The people may call their next witness.
Your Honor, I recall James Ramseur.
You solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give to this court and the jury in the case, the people of the state of New York against Bernhad H. Goetz, defendant at the bar, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
So help me God.
Be seated.
Mr. Witness, you may inquire.
Are you ready to testify now, Mr. Ramseur?
Yes, I am.
How old are you?
20.
Where are you living now?
At C-74.
You're in jail?
Right.
And are you serving a sentence at the present time?
Yes.
What sentence are you serving?
For a rape charge that I never committed.
What sentence are you serving?
8 1/3 to 25.
Are those are years, are they not?
Yes, they are.
And what were you convicted of that caused you to be sentenced to 8 1/3 to 25 years in jail?
Supposed to be acting in concert to rape, robbery, sodomy, and assault.
Did you plead guilty, or are you convicted after trial?
Convicted after trial.
In December of 1984, how were you supporting yourself?
I was stealing.
You were shoplifting?
Yes, I was.
And what would you do with the stuff you stole?
Sell it.
December 22nd, Saturday before Christmas of 1984. Do you remember that day, Mr. Ramseur?
Yes.
Did there come a time when you met Troy Canty, Barry Allen, and Darrell Cabey?
Yes.
And what did they ask you?
I think it was Troy who asked me did I want to go out with them. They were going to rob video machines, and I answered yes.
And did you get on the train at 149th Street and 3rd Avenue?
Yes.
And do you remember making a stop at 14th Street during that journey downtown?
Yes.
Did you notice anyone get on at that point?
Yes.
And do you know who that is now?
Yes.
Who is that?
Bernhad Goetz.
Now tell us exactly what happened next. Keep your voice up.
After the door closed, and a little while later, I turned my head to look towards where Troy Canty was sitting. I noticed he was up in Bernhad Goetz's face.
Now, who was up in Bernhad Goetz's face?
Troy Canty.
And what exactly was Troy Canty doing?
He was bent over like he was saying something to him. I thought he was asking him for the time, because I heard him say something, but I'm not sure what he said.
How far was Troy Canty from the defendant? You said he was right in his face. What does that mean?
Like where I am from this mic,
Or how was Troy Canty positioned?
with both his hands on his knees.
Can you stand up and show the jury exactly the position Troy Canty was in?
Like this.
Hands on his knees.
Yes.
Did he have anything in his hands?
Not that I could see.
And what happened?
Well, I had my I was facing Darrell Cabey, and I seen Darrell Cabey was looking, and his eyes were more wider, looking towards them.
Mm-hmm.
When I turned around, I guess the gun had already gone off, and I heard, the shot, and he fell.
Now, were you in a position to see that first shot?
No.
Incidentally, did you or were you aware that Troy Candy was going to get up and walk over to the defendant?
No.
And what happened then?
Barry Allen jumped up and yelled out, if I may curse, I'll say it.
Well, just tell us what you heard.
Barry Allen yelled out Troy's name. He yelled out, "Oh, shit, Troy," and went over to try to get to him or whatever.
Now, when you turned and heard that shot, do you know where the defendant was?
Yes, the defendant was turning towards Barry Allen.
So what was his position, his body position at that time?
He had both his hands on the gun, and he was turning towards where we were at. That would be his right-hand side.
And what exactly did you see Barry Allen do?
I just seen him jump up.
Jump up from where?
From out his seat.
What direction did he go?
Towards where Troy was.
What happened then?
I just heard another shot, and he was down.
And what did Darrell Cabey do?
He jumped up. He was trying to get out the door, but I had my back pressing towards his, so he couldn't get out the door.
And what happened next?
Goetz shot me.
Now, what was your position when you were shot?
When I was shot,
Mm-hmm.
I seen him. It looked like the gun was aiming at me. Looked like it was aiming towards my chest. So I turned to the side, and I just felt it. I felt the bullet go in my chest.
Now, can you stand up and show the jury exactly the position you were in when you were shot?
I was over, bent over. I'm not sure my hands were like this, but I know how I turned around.
Now, when you say turned, what do you mean?
Turned away, to duck the bullet or try to get away from it.
Sit down. What did you see and hear next?
Next thing I heard was another shot.
Now, were you in a position to see who was being shot at?
No.
Now, what happened after you heard that shot?
Darrell Cabey was yelling I didn't do nothing.
Objection, Your Honor. I ask that be stricken.
Overruled.
What happened after that, Mr. Ramsar?
Well, I could see Goetz was going towards Darrell Cabey.
What do you mean?
From where I was, he was going to Darrell Cabey, towards where Darrell Cabey was.
And what did you see and hear?
Next thing I heard was him saying they was trying to rob me.
Who was saying that?
Bernhad Goetz.
Who was he talking to at that time, if anyone? Do you know?
I don't know who he was talking to.
You had a screwdriver in your possession at that time.
Yes.
Did you ever take it out?
No.
Even during the shooting?
No.
I have no further questions, Judge.
You're the same James Ramsar who was here before. Refused to be sworn on the Bible. In fact, you just waved it away and said you weren't going to testify. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
And you're the same James Ramsar who would judge in Bronx County, sentenced to 8 1/3 to 25 years. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
You're the same James Ramsar who was convicted in Bronx County for rape,
Yes, it is.
robbery,
Yes.
sodomy,
Yes.
assault,
Yes.
possession of a weapon.
Yes.
And you're the same James Ramsar who was convicted for sodomy of a pregnant woman by the name of Cordelia Monet, causing her 18 stitches in her anus.
Yes, I was, but I never committed that crime.
You were tried before a judge and a jury, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
The judge who saw the trial, he sentenced you, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Did he give you 8 1/3 years?
Yes, he did.
And before you even see the parole board, you got to do 8 1/3 years in jail.
Yes, I do.
Now, there came a time when the DA of New York County gave you immunity from prosecution in this case. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
I mean, when you were first asked to testify in the grand jury, you refused.
That's right.
You went in, you were given the Bible, you just absolutely refused to testify without immunity.
Yes.
And once you got your assurance from the DA that you couldn't be prosecuted for anything you did on December 22nd, 1984, then you agreed to testify. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, on December 22nd, 1984, when you were on the number 2 train going downtown, how many warrants were pending against you from the New York City Police Department?
4.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
4.
How did you happen to get so many warrants pending against you from the New York City Police Department?
Not going to court.
Oh, in other words, you get arrested and just not go back to court. Is that right?
That's right.
Tell the jury what happened to all those cases.
Can I tell the jurors why what happened?
No.
Why not?
I asked the questions to you, Mr. Ramsey.
Why not?
You answer them. Tell the jury what happened to those 4 pending cases.
What happened? I got sentenced to 90 days.
You also told Mr. Waples and the grand jury that you were bringing a suit, a civil suit against Mr. Goetz.
Yes.
And you told Mr. Waples and the grand jury that, without question, you wanted to collect money on this suit. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
You were suing Mr. Goetz for money, and you wanted to get it.
Yes.
Now, at that time, Cordelia Mornay hadn't been raped, robbed, assaulted, and sodomized. So you didn't know you were going to be spending 8 1/3 years in jail. You thought you were going to be out spending Mr. Goetz's money, right?
Yeah, if you want to put it that way, of course.
And now you knew in order to get Mr. Goetz's money, you got to show that you weren't part of a robbery.
Of course, I never was till after this Goetz case.
You knew that in order for you to prevail, you'd have to maintain a story that you were innocent of robbing Mr. Goetz.
Yes, and that's exactly why you set me up, right? I mean, you and Goetz are in it.
As a matter of fact, you knew quite clearly that as far as Mr. Goetz went, if he were found in any way not guilty of shooting you, you wouldn't get any money.
He's going to be found not guilty anyway. I know what time it is.
Now, Mr. Ramsour, I believe you told us that the screwdriver you had in your pocket, you put in your pocket 2 days before. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, when you testified before the grand jury on March 18th, didn't you tell the grand jury that that screwdriver had been in your pocket for a week straight? And didn't you tell the grand jury you didn't even know you had it?
No, I don't remember telling the grand jury that.
You don't remember telling the grand jury that?
Nope.
Well, March 18th on page 230. Were you asked this question, and did you give this answer? Why were you carrying that screwdriver? Answer, that was, I'd say, that screwdriver was in my pocket for a week straight.
Nope.
You never said that to the grand jury.
I don't remember saying that.
May I have a moment, Your Honor? Now, I'd like to show you a document. Maybe this will refresh your recollection.
I don't want to see him.
I'm sorry?
I don't want to see him. You could have just made those up.
No, give it a try, Mr. Ramseur. It might jog your memory. If after you've read it, you decide it doesn't help, then you can say so.
No. Does that refresh your recollection that you told the grand jury something different than you told us here?
Nope.
Mr. Ramseur, did you tell us that the purpose of your trip downtown was to break into video games?
Yes.
Did you tell any police officers that the reason that you went downtown was to break into video games?
That wasn't the reason I was
Just answer the question. Did you tell any police officers that the reason you went downtown was to break into video machines?
Yes.
You did?
Yes, but I never said...
Your Honor, could I have an admonition to this witness?
You see, he's trying to trick me.
Listen, don't volunteer, because Mr. Waples has an opportunity, if he thinks he needs it, to elicit from you any additional information along with what limited questions and answers you've given to Mr. Slotnick.
He's twisting things around, and I don't like that.
Mr. Ramseur, please, listen to me. This is the way it works. You have to keep this jury's eye on the ball. Now, Mr. Slotnick is asking questions in cross that require very narrow answers. You have to concentrate on his questions, answer the questions as best you can. If you don't understand them, tell him you don't understand them. If you can't answer yes or no, tell him you can't answer yes or no. Don't volunteer anything.
He's trying to twist things.
Listen to me. Mr. Waples will get the chance after Mr. Slotnick is finished to flush out what you have to say. Leave it up to Mr. Waples, okay? Let's go on, Mr. Slotnick.
Now, on the day of the shooting, you were asked by a detective by the name of McCormick why you were going downtown. You said you and your friends were going downtown to buy some items you could wholesale on the street.
I don't remember.
Well, perhaps I can help you if I show you this police report. Maybe this will refresh your recollection.
I don't need to see no police reports.
Excuse me, I didn't hear you.
I don't need to see no police reports.
You think they're lying?
Yep, twisting my stories around. I'm telling the truth. I got nothing to hide.
Yeah, well, then Police Officer McCormick, what he put in his report then was...
He twisted it around, or you did.
But maybe he even lied to you. Is that correct? Maybe he even lied in his report.
I guess so.
Could you make a little effort, perhaps? If I show you the report, would you read it? You tell us what's the truth, what's a lie, and where a police officer twisted your words around.
Look, I don't need to read it because I know what happened, and I know what I told people. I told the truth. I got nothing to hide like I'm telling you now.
Yeah, all right. Now, did you talk to another police officer?
I don't remember.
Wait for the question.
December 22nd. Police Officer Natali, more specifically. Do you remember a lady police officer?
Yes, I do.
Well, did you tell her the four...
No.
Oh, so what she has in her report is a lie. You know what's in her report? Well, tell us. Tell us what's in her report.
No.
You tell us. Go ahead. You tell us. Come on, take your hand away from your mouth. Pay attention.
Look, I already went through this with Waples. I know the story. He twisted it up, too, I guess.
Mr. Ramseur, can you answer this question with a yes or no? Look, maybe I can help you. Do I make you nervous?
No, you don't make me nervous.
Are you nervous?
No.
All right, then. Why don't you answer this question? Did you tell Carol Natali, not only were the four of us not loud, but you weren't hanging on bars or annoying the other passengers?
No.
Isn't it a matter of fact that you were loud? You were hanging on bars and annoying the other passengers.
No, I'm not that type of person. I'm not a monkey. I don't swing on bars.
Oh, what about your other friends? Were they loud, hanging on bars and annoying the other passengers?
No.
Well, if I may ask Mr. Ramseur to read these reports, read the yellow portions, perhaps this can refresh his recollection.
I don't need to read no reports.
I need you to do that so that you can answer the next question. All you have to do is take a look.
I don't need to see no reports.
I ask you to direct the witness to read the reports.
I'm directing. Mr. Ramseur, all you have to do is look at the report.
Look, I know what happened. I don't have
That is not the point of the question now. The point of the question is what you told other people and whether you remember what you told other people. One of the things that Mr. Slotnick is entitled to do is refresh your recollection. So please, look at the reports and answer his questions. If you have any difficulty reading, Mr. Ramseur, we will have it read to you silently. Mr. Ramseur?
No, I'm reading it to myself.
All right, Mr. Slotnick, we're ready for your question.
Does it refresh your recollection?